Pharmacy.
Refilling and transferring your prescriptions have never been this easy. Simply go to healthcarepharmacy.ky and follow the easy directions from your desktop, mobile device, or tablet. All you need to do is pop into Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor to collect your prescription. They're open 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 10 till 6 on Sundays and public holidays. No waiting in line, no wasting your lunch hour, no stress. Just easy online prescription refills and transfers from the pharmacy that has been caring about your health for 25 years. Call 947-8900 to speak to a pharmacist or go to healthcarepharmacy.ky and make life easy.
Attention members of the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. This is a special message just for you. The final backpack distribution for the year will take place August 14th to the 16th from 4 to 7 p.m. and Saturday, August 17th from 9 a.m. to noon at the SIXA office located upstairs, the new #1 shoe shop on Hospital Road. If you did not get a backpack in the last distribution week, now is the time to make plans to get yours. And remember, if you can't attend to get your bag, you must send a signed note with a copy of your ID with whoever is picking up your 2 bags. Save the date, August 14th to the 16th from 4 to 7 p.m. and Saturday, August 17th from 9 a.m. till noon. See you in August. SIXA, members helping members.
Once upon a time, we ate from the land and sea. We may not have had much growing up, but we had healthy foods. It's time to wake back up to natural eating. EatingClean.com is the island's premier 100% born Caymanian-owned cooked-to-order meal prepping service. Fresh, locally and responsibly sourced ingredients. No processed soy and GMO foods. From breakfast to lunches, meat to vegan, juices and smoothies. Experience tasty meals for as low as $9. Visit EatingClean.com to view their menu or place your order. Deliveries are free, including reusable plates and bags. Monthly and corporate specials are available. Visit eatingclean.com. That's clean with a K. EATINGKLEAN.com. Or call 328-8655. Wake back up to quality foods with eatingclean.com.
We believe that every life matters and we are all connected. One community, one people.
No matter where you live, Holy Cross Hospital of South Florida is breaking down the borders that should not exist in advanced healthcare.
At Holy Cross Hospital, we have opened our doors to the world, bringing you exceptional healthcare.
The multicultural staff features doctors and nurses providing top quality, compassionate healthcare while making patients feel at home.
Our Holy Cross International Services team provides guidance to patients and their families throughout their travel, accommodations, and recovery.
Quality medical care and advanced technology with sincere compassion and understanding. Your trusted health partner for life.
Learn more about Holy Cross Hospital. Email international@holy-cross.com or call 954-351-5906.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
This is For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Hi, and welcome to For the Health of It. In the studio with me is Dr. Schilling Ford. He's an HSA physician, and we're going to be talking about the diabetes prevention. Welcome to For the Health of It.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, I don't know whether to start with the first question, which from our audience member, but I think what I'll do is we'll work into, well, maybe what's the description of diabetes? What's the cause of it?
All right. So diabetes is, to put it simply, a person who has difficulty managing the level of sugar in their blood, essentially. Yeah. So just to explain how it happens, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Normally, if you eat food has different types of foodstuffs in there. So you have carbohydrates and proteins and fats. Mm-hmm. We're speaking mostly about the carbohydrates here. Carbohydrate foods like starch and sugar, those are the commonest carbohydrates. When you eat them, they get into your mouth, get into your stomach. You break them down completely into sugar. All right. So when we say sugar as doctors, we're not talking about the sugar that's on your table. It's a kind of substance that makes up starches. All right. So when you've eaten starches and sugar, you break them down, you absorb them into your blood through the process of digestion. Chew them, absorb them into your blood, and it gets into your blood so that your body can use that sugar. Most of us, those of us who don't have diabetes, that is, the body has very good mechanisms to make sure that that sugar level doesn't go high.
Right.
So, for example, if you start eating and your sugar, your food had a lot of starch in it, then the amount of sugar will start increasing, and your body will make a chemical called insulin. I'm sure everybody's heard of insulin. Yeah. And insulin's job would be to keep that sugar down. So as soon as you start eating, the sugar level goes up, you make insulin, insulin brings it back down. So a normal person, your sugar level will never go above a certain limit. And when you measure it after the meal, it will go back down to normal rapidly. So a person with diabetes, it's actually a problem with insulin. So persons with diabetes, either they don't make enough insulin, or sometimes their insulin doesn't work properly. So those are the two main things. So you'll find that a person with diabetes who eats any kind of starchy food or sugary food, when they've eaten that food and it gets into their blood, no insulin or not enough insulin, or it's not working properly, so the sugar level goes up and up and up. And even after they finish eating, you've got nothing to bring it down, so your sugar stays up for longer than normal. So essentially that's what causes diabetes, yeah?
But let's dive one little bit more into that, because we want to educate people a little bit more. When we say carbs and complex carbs break down a little bit slower and don't tax. Right. And they're more your sweet potatoes, your brown rice. Right. Quinoa, and other, complex carbs.
the root stuff that we eat as well. Right. The yam and the dasheen and those things there.
Right.
Yeah.
They're much better for you than
absolutely
the white rice, the white pasta, the white
bread.
The
refined flours and so on. Yeah.
Right. Because they go right into sugar. Yeah. And then that triggers the insulin response.
Absolutely.
And because of our diet, the reason why people get diabetes, as I understand it, I'm no doctor, you keep taxing your pancreas and that response, and you just exhausted.
Okay, so a couple things cause the diabetes. First of all, you're absolutely right. The carbohydrates, when we say carbohydrates, or carbs as we call it, there are different kinds, there are different refinements of carbohydrate. The white stuff is not as good for you. The white rice and the white flour and the pasta, not as good for you as the rough carbohydrates. But all of them get broken down to sugar. So if you're diabetic, all of them will raise your blood sugar, although the refined ones will raise your blood sugar faster and higher. Right. So if you're diabetic, we still recommend that you need to watch how much carbs you're eating generally. Ideally, eat the complex carbs, but they will still raise your blood sugar. You still got to be careful.
Yeah.
All right? So the cause of diabetes, you mentioned that in the pancreas. So insulin, the chemical that we mentioned that brings down your blood sugar, it's made in a gland in your abdomen we call the pancreas. And yes, interestingly, they say that when you are diabetic, your pancreas actually starts getting tired about 12 years before you actually reach the doctor and get the diagnosis. Yeah, on average, most people, long before the doctor says, I'm sorry, you have diabetes, the process started sometimes 10, 12 years before. All right? And yes, it's because sometimes when you start, when the pancreas has to work so hard to make more insulin because, it's not working properly, then eventually it does wear out. But there's another significant cause of diabetes as well, and that is some people, I did mention it, some people, your insulin, even if you make insulin, it just doesn't work very well. It's something we call insulin resistance. So it's not that you don't have insulin. The pancreas sometimes, as a matter of fact, some diabetics actually have more insulin than normal people. They make a lot of insulin, but it doesn't work as well. And that is usually in people who are significantly overweight. Well, not significant, I shouldn't say significant. People who are overweight. So if, for some reason, being overweight stops your insulin from working very well. So you could have a lot of insulin, but it still doesn't work.
It doesn't absorb into the
doesn't.
body.
It doesn't do its job to bring the blood sugar down. And there are other people who might not have enough insulin, or people might have combination. They have low levels of insulin and it doesn't work properly. All right, so those are the two main things that would cause you to have diabetes.
And both of them eventually lead to the overstress of the pancreas, excuse me, and the insulin resistance, that they both lead to diabetes in
yes.
unless you do some modifications.
Absolutely. So if you find that either you don't have enough insulin or your insulin doesn't work, regardless of which one it is, your sugar will not be controlled properly.
And how do you know? I mean, is it a blood test that you do, or symptoms, or?
Could be either. These days we find, and we should be proud of that in the Cayman Islands, especially as primary care physicians, most people would probably be diagnosed with diabetes before they know that they have it, before they have any symptoms.
That's true,
yeah. Most people would have a blood test at some point in their life.
We have a lot of health fairs.
Yes, we have quite a few health fairs. That's a good point, yeah. But many people tend to go to their doctor for their physical at some point. Yeah, and we tend to diagnose it that way. But there are symptoms of diabetes. So if a person has diabetes, the things that you would usually find, they would go to the bathroom to pass urine very often. And that is because the amount of sugar is a diuretic, as we call it. It makes you pass a lot of urine. People with diabetes tend to feel thirsty a lot, because you're losing so much water, because you're passing a lot of urine, that you feel thirsty. Some people feel hungry. Some people lose weight because of diabetes. And in other cases, if things have really gone on far, you might discover you have diabetes when you get a complication of diabetes. Your eye is not working as well. You discover you have kidney trouble, for example, or even in extreme situations, you might find you might have a stroke or a heart attack, and that's the first time you discover, hey, it's because I have sugar.
Is there a difference between the symptoms and insulin resistance as opposed to your pancreas being a little exhausted, or this is the same?
No, it would be the symptoms wouldn't be any different.
Okay.
Because the symptoms are caused by just having too much sugar in the blood. Okay. And any one of those situations can cause that to happen. So you wouldn't know.
If you want to call in and ask us any questions, Dr. Schilling, with any questions, please do so. The number is 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp me, or you can if you're on Facebook, you can Facebook a message to us. Anyway, so now we talked about some of this show is going to be about prevention.
Yeah, that's very important.
How can we prevent this very insidious disease?
Yes. If we look at the reasons why we get diabetes, so far we've said it's because of one of the most important things we've said so far is that commonly it's because of being overweight. Yeah, that in fact is probably one of the most common reasons why we get diabetes. So if we want to prevent diabetes, much of the prevention effort has to do with lifestyle things. Yeah? Eating well and exercising, essentially. Apart from that, we also, in terms of prevention, it would be good if we could find out a person has diabetes way in advance. And we did mention that a lot of people find out before they get symptoms. So in terms of prevention, we could talk about preventing diabetes itself, but we also want to talk about preventing the complications of diabetes, or preventing it from getting worse. So there are two aspects to prevention. So just quickly, if you have diabetes, your doctor would want to prevent you from getting complications. So there's a bit of prevention activity that goes there. But I suspect when people talk about preventing diabetes, I find most of my patients want to make sure they never get it at all.
Yeah.
All right. We can do things to reduce your chances of getting it.
Right.
But I don't think we can ever be sure that you will never get diabetes. Yeah.
Especially when you have a genetic disposition.
Absolutely.
For it, right?
And we were speaking about that just before we came online. In the Caribbean, we are mostly of African origin. Mm-hmm. And I know you were querying why on earth this is the case, but African origin increases your risk of having diabetes as well. Mm-hmm. So if your brother has diabetes and your sister has diabetes and your father has diabetes, we could talk a lot about prevention, but chances are you'll probably still get diabetes.
But it doesn't have to be your curse if you eat right and exercise.
You might, ideally, that would be the case.
Yeah,
it would be fantastic if you could prevent it completely, but there are some people who, we've seen diabetics who are, stick thin and still get diabetes. If it's genetic, chances are, and the reason why I say that is not to make people feel, oh, there's no hope, I can't. But especially the men, men sometimes don't like to come in for testing.
Right? Of course, yeah.
And we don't want people to feel that if you go home and you eat the right thing and you drink the right thing, that you will never get it and they never check to see if they got it. So I just want to leave it out there that you can eat right and exercise, and you should, absolutely, but you still need to go to your doctor regularly and have tests just to be sure.
Of course, yeah.
So in terms of prevention, though, the question that people would always ask is, what should I eat and what should I not eat? One thing I would like to say is don't try any of those fancy diets that you hear people going up for. I always tell my patients that no matter what you do, if you want to prevent a chronic disease, one of those things that don't go away, like diabetes or one things that last long, whatever changes you make, it should be something that you're comfortable with doing long term.
Yeah.
Because if you go on a crash diet, you might be able to fix your weight for a few days or a few months or a few weeks. You might be able to control your sugar for a short while, but chances are at some point you will give up on it and you'll go back to your regular.
It's a crash.
You have to change. It's a crash. you have to get off the crash eventually.
Right.
So we recommend changing your diet, making substantial changes.
But slow.
Absolutely.
Because humans are slow to change.
Yep.
I know I am. It took me a year to bring down my coffee. I take out milk out of my coffee. One entire year. And the more I pushed it, the bigger the coffee. But latte is gone.
So you're down to a reasonable amount of coffee now.
But yeah, I have 16 ounces and black.
Excellent. Yeah. So if you're a person who's trying to prevent yourself from getting diabetes, or at least to delay diabetes, then just taking from what you said is, it might be difficult to do that. So we do recommend that ideally you should go speak to your doctor. Make sure you establish a regular relationship, I should call it, with a doctor so that you can have monitoring and you can do the blood test regularly. But we also recommend that you see a dietitian as far as possible as well, because dietitians will be able to give you advice, not just advice, but they'll be able to go through your dietary habits and point out to you. Sometimes people don't realize that I am doing this or I'm eating this way and this is not really healthy. So the dietitian will be able to walk through and show you which parts of your diet can change. And with time, the hope is that you may be able to change your diet permanently. And just to be specific about it, we need to eat more vegetables and eat less starch.
Yeah, and you're not saying either that you can't have a glass of wine occasionally, or you can't go out with your family and have a piece of cake for birthday.
No.
You're saying that we want you to eat as much veg and get your diet as sorted out as possible. But yes, make some. You can have food if you plan for it. And B, you take your. That's not your focus. You're not having dessert after every meal. A piece of cake.
It comes. It essentially, I think. You need to be aware of what you're eating.
Yes.
Yeah, and make conscious decisions that I am going to eat well. Yeah. At some point, you might say to yourself, "Okay, I am going to have a piece of cake today."
Yeah.
That doesn't change your determination that you're going to eat well. It's just I'm having a piece of cake today, but I know that tomorrow I'm going to continue eating well. Yeah.
The thing about our Caribbean diet that really just upsets me so much is that white rice. and for me, every single meal, you're eating a piece of chocolate cake. Because that's how it breaks down. The body does not know, it's white rice. Okay.
Yeah.
So it breaks down just like a piece of chocolate.
It's essentially starch, just like chocolate cake. You're very right. Yeah.
So,
you're right. Yeah.
I'm like, come on. Would you eat chocolate cake in the morning? No. Okay. Well, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, but, it takes time.
Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is that it's not only the white rice, but even if we don't eat white rice, we eat bread with it instead. Yeah. Or fried dumpling. How many of our things are fried? Fried plantain. I always say to people, the guidance on diets say that 1/3. If you have a plate, a round plate, divide it into 3. All the experts, the entire world, say that 1/3 of that plate should be green stuff.
Yeah.
Whether cooked or steamed or raw, it doesn't matter, but 1/3 of your plate should be vegetables. For us, it's usually more 80% rice.
Yeah.
And a little slice of tomato on the top, for decoration purposes, So that's the kind of change that we need to make if we're going to be preventing diabetes. Significant changes to the way that we eat.
Yeah, and move too, right?
Not forgetting exercise.
Yeah.
You know how much exercise we're supposed to be doing? We're supposed to be doing 150 minutes of exercise per week, which is 5 days a week minimum of 30 minutes of exercise minimum every day. And it should be moderate intensity exercise, not a gentle stroll. People tell me that they stand up a lot at work. That doesn't count as exercise. It has to be exercise, movement that makes your heart race and makes you breathe fast.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be doing that 150 minutes. And also, most guidelines recommend, in addition to that, you should be lifting weights twice a week.
And that's good for your bone strength.
Absolutely.
Not just muscle strength.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you bring that up, because many people, when I mention that, say, I'm too old for that. But it's even more important in the older people, because it's the older persons who lose the bone mass. It's when you get older that you get the thin bones and the osteoporosis.
Right.
So it's even more helpful for you to be actually doing some what we call resistance exercises. We're not recommending that you need to go to the gym and start pushing those big pieces of iron, but exercise.
Push-ups, right?
Or just those little tiny rubber-coated dumbbells that you hold in your hands, resistance exercises. Yeah, that's what the guidelines say we ought to be doing. Yeah.
Okay. I want to know about polycystic syndrome. How does that cause diabetes?
Polycystic.
2 minutes left.
Polycystic ovarian syndrome. Yeah. It's a condition that women get, obviously. It's something to do with your ovaries. Your ovaries get a lot of cysts in it, and it's usually caused by a problem with the balance of your hormones in your blood. And it can be, usually you get the cysts in, you get the hairy chin, and you put on weight, and it increases your chances of getting diabetes. And the reason why that is just because of the imbalance in your hormones. Yeah, and it gives you a bit of insulin resistance, which makes you diabetic.
So it's the insulin resistant.
Yeah.
But let me get to my question from my audience member. Can insulin make you gain weight?
I wish I didn't have to answer that question. Yeah, it can. The unfortunate thing about insulin is that, as you say, many people, when you're diabetic, it progresses. You start with mild sugar. After a few years, you get to the point where, as you mentioned, your pancreas, the gland that makes your insulin, it burns out. Don't make as much insulin as you need. You must have insulin to survive. So if your pancreas eventually burns out, there comes a time when you have to get the insulin through an injection. Because if you don't make any and you don't get any, you cannot. So humans must have insulin. So some people must have insulin, and unfortunately, when you start on insulin injections, it can make you put on weight.
Okay. Is there I mean, the other question about this is, are there any natural alternatives to insulin?
No. There isn't. Again, keep in mind that insulin is a natural substance. It's not a drug. We all make insulin, and the only reason we give it to you in an injection is when you stop making your own.
Right.
So it's a natural thing. So we don't need a natural substitute. It's already a natural chemical substance.
How would you work with that patient? Because I think the issue with that one is it could be the insulin resistance rather than
So you're asking about people who have insulin resistance, whether they need to get insulin injections?
And
right. So if you have for just pure insulin resistance, then what you will find is that the level of insulin in your blood is usually still very high. So if it's not working, what we do, we give you more because you still need more, even if you have a lot.
How can she lose weight? I mean, is there something you work with her to help her to bring down her weight?
It's the same way that we would do for anyone else, which is good diet, exercise regularly, and speak to your nutritionist.
Okay.
Yeah, that's essentially it. But you have to continue your insulin if you need it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. That 26-minute flew.
That went extremely quick.
Thank you for being on for the health of it, and we are moving you to the life you want.
Live with pride, live strong, live with love, live with hope, live long, and be the best you can be. Live well, GNC.
The science doesn't lie. The key to achieving your health goals is through the proper knowledge of nutrition.
From moms to babies, kids to seniors, vegan to pro performance and wellness, GNC sets the standards in nutritional science.
Their experienced team of professionals are ready to support you in achieving your goals with 2 convenient locations in Countryside Shopping Village in Savannah and Queens Court on West Bay Road.
And join the GNC community and take advantage of their discount days, the first 7 business days of every month and every Wednesday.
Take control of your health and body today with GNC.
Believe in the power of nutrition.
Live well, GNC.
Refilling and transferring your prescriptions have never been this easy. Simply go to healthcarepharmacy.ky and follow the easy directions from your desktop, mobile device, or tablet. All you need to do is pop into Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor to collect your prescription. They're open 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 10 till 6 on Sundays and public holidays. No waiting in line, no wasting your lunch hour, no stress. Just easy online prescription refills and transfers from the pharmacy that has been caring about your health for 25 years. Call 947-8900 to speak to a pharmacist or go to healthcarepharmacy.ky and make life easy.
Attention members of the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. This is a special message just for you. The final backpack distribution for the year will take place August 14th to the 16th from 4 to 7 p.m. and Saturday, August 17th from 9 a.m. to noon at the Sixa office located upstairs, the new #1 shoe shop on Hospital Road. If you did not get a backpack in the last distribution week, now is the time to make plans to get yours. And remember, if you can't attend to get your bag, you must send a signed note with a copy of your ID with whoever is picking up your 2 bags. Save the date, August 14th to the 16th from 4 to 7 p.m. and Saturday, August 17th from 9 a.m. till noon. See you in August. Sixa, members helping members.
Once upon a time, we ate from the land and sea. We may not have had much growing up, but we had healthy foods. It's time to wake back up to natural eating. EatingClean.com is the island's premier 100% born Caymanian-owned cooked-to-order meal prepping service. Fresh, locally and responsibly sourced ingredients. No processed soy and GMO foods. From breakfast to lunches, meat to vegan, juices and smoothies. Experience tasty meals for as low as $9. Visit EatingClean.com to view their menu or place your order. Deliveries are free, including reusable plates and bags. Monthly and corporate specials are available. Hospital. Visit eatingclean.com. That's clean with a K. EATINGKLEAN.com. Or call 328-8655. Wake back up to quality foods with eatingclean.com.
We believe that every life matters, and we are all connected. One community, one people.
No matter where you live, Holy Cross Hospital of South Florida is breaking down the borders that should not exist in advanced healthcare.
At Holy Cross Hospital, we have opened our doors to the world, bringing you exceptional healthcare.
The multicultural staff features doctors and nurses providing top quality, compassionate healthcare while making patients feel at home.
Our Holy Cross International Services team provides guidance to patients and their families throughout their travel, accommodations, and recovery.
Quality medical care and advanced technology with sincere compassion and understanding. Your trusted health partner for life.
Learn more about Holy Cross Hospital. Email international@holy-cross.com or call 954-351-5906.
For the Health of It, Radio Cayman's premier health show was brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy, the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association, Holy Cross Hospital, GNC, and eatingclean.com.
This is For the Health of It with Tara Bush. For the Health of It with Tara Bush.